Yeah.
I saw you sitting here, and you just wanted to say hi. That's okay.
Well, that's cool. We had 2 of these old English sheepdogs
Oh,
when we were kids.
oh, nice.
What's up, doggy?
Yeah, he's our 4th one over the last, well, since my oldest was a year old.
He's a big one.
Yep,
You're a big doggy.
yep. Well, my,
Let me show him here.
oh, okay.
Oh, look who visited me.
Max, look.
Who got the Shaggy DA? How you doing, buddy? He's a good dog.
He is a very good dog. He's the best we've ever had.
Nice.
And he was a rescue. Come on, let's go. I have to get back because my kids are over.
Merry
Come on, this is
Christmas.
going to be short, Max. Have a good day. Oh, come on. Come on. Here, can you treat?
Yeah, that's right, Deb. I remembered. How you doing, Patriots? Let's see, today's the 26th of December, day 1084 of the political hostage crisis going on in this country right now, among other things. And tonight's going to be the 512th Vigil down in Freedom Corner. And we got a lot to catch up on today. I haven't done a stream in quite a while here. Let's see, hopefully we got enough daylight here going on. Haven't done a stream since, let's see, Saturday, Christmas Eve. Hope you guys all had a good holiday season. Hope you had some family to hang out with. I know a lot of you don't have family to hang out with. And I'm glad that we could hang out together on the live streams and the Freedom Corner live vigil. And at least chat with our families and stuff and share our concerns and our prayers. And just talking about our country all the time. It gets overwhelming, I know. And we just got to know that God's got us, man. He's got us in his hands right now. We are trusting in him. And when I think back on history, you know, we don't have it that bad, but man, some of us do. Some of us are in prison right now. Their families are at home. A couple of the J6ers in jail have gone through their 3rd Christmas without a trial. I don't know if that's got to be falling on about 350 million deaf ears right now in America, because according to our laws here, you got to have a speedy trial. They can't just arrest you and figure out charges later. And that's what's going on here. And then the longer you fight it, then they try to freak you out into a plea deal. And if you don't take that plea deal, they add more charges onto you. Then they ask you for another plea deal. This is so outrageous, America, that I don't even recognize the country I grew up in anymore. So let's just go over what's going on here in our country with the J6 vigils first, and we'll get on some other news. So on Saturday, Freedom Corner, vigil number 509, we got a call from Mark Brew, and he was sending us Christmas wishes from inside the gulag there. Well, first, let's say hello to everybody here. How are we doing? Hey, Bonnie, how are you? Julie Jordan, Deb Vi, I remembered it. I'm getting better. I don't want you to stop checking up on me, though. I definitely need that somebody watching me, somebody watching my back. Wow, I got all washed out here on this end. Okay, here we go. I can't see the chat because it's white letters on top of a white sky back there. So Beverly Asselson, hello. Cindy, hello. Hope you all had a good holiday. I really do. This time is meaningful with our families, and I had great times with my family, and just had another brunch this morning, kind of the last hurrah. And it's so nice to see the family come together, seeing the kids playing together, see everybody come together and make a nice meal and just be happy and find out what everybody's doing these days. And we didn't get too political. It's almost like too horrible to talk about with the family that doesn't get it yet. But it's always in the back of my head, you know, these people in my own family do not understand what's going on. And it's hard to, man, it makes it tough to be woke. But God woke us up for a reason. And we will persevere. We will continue to move forward. We will not become violent. We will not become wicked. Our representatives are just outright ignoring us at this point, and we got to keep trying for solutions at least. So Mark Brew sending out Christmas wishes from inside the gulag. Then Tammy had a kind of an important message here and about our calls to action, and made it known that the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons, is not in charge of the gulag. The gulag basically is a county jail for the Washington, D.C. area. And if there's one of our J6ers in the gulag is having troubles, you don't call the BOP about it. And if we do, then it becomes somewhat of a target on the guy's back that all these people called. So we gotta, I guess, just listen to the information that's being given when it's time to make a call for action, and make sure you're calling the right people. Make sure you're cordial on the phone, that you're all businesslike, that you make the people understand that you are just calling because you can, and that you see an injustice or something that's wrong going on, and be polite. Be polite on the phone, man. Sugar gets more than, there's a saying there or something, you know. So just use our heads. And the same thing when you're calling your representatives. And it's just hard to just keep calling them, man. It's really, really getting hard to do this. We got a call in from Chris Quaglin. Of course, this was all on Christmas Eve, by the way. And Dominic Box called in. Taylor Jonatakis called in. Jeff Sable called in. And on Christmas Eve, the guys were telling us that they had some Christmas singing that they were going to treat us with on Christmas Day. So they were all talking about they're practicing in there, who was going to be in the J6 Patriot Choir for tomorrow. And pretty much Jeff Sable and Matt DeSilva kind of organized this whole thing. They might have singing experience, I don't know. But they were getting a group of guys together. They had to actually write out each song, so each guy had a copy of the words and stuff for the music, because they don't have a copier machine. So one of the guys' jobs was to just make multiple copies by hand of the verses of the songs that they were going to sing. And this is another glimpse into their world, you know, what these guys got to deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's not pleasant, man. Let's see, Dominic Box got on. He just got in there around Thanksgiving at the DC Gulag. So this is his first Christmas, and he was just telling us how much the other J6ers in the pod helped him out when he got there. When he originally got there, he had nothing. You have nothing when you get there. You got to buy a t-shirt, because you can't just bring your own t-shirts in there, and you got to buy like shoes that you can wear in there. And of course, they charge you like an arm and a leg for these things, and that money just evaporates. It's supposed to go to help. Everything from commissary on most prisons is supposed to help out the jail in some manner, but I do know that here in Pennsylvania, we found out that Dauphin County Jail was taking that money from the commissary profits and buying themselves gun club memberships and things like that do not benefit the prisoners that are in the jail, even though you got rules on the books about that money is supposed to help out the J6ers there. All right, Julie Jordan's making dinner. All right, I'll tell you, we got leftovers. I got leftovers. Me and my dad got leftovers for a week at least. And that's always nice. That's always nice. Yeah, Nova, we are lifting their spirits. They're lifting our spirits too, actually. Just hearing that, you know, FJB's government, this illegitimate government, can steal their houses, their cars, their jobs, their families. They can steal their freedom, but they can't steal their joy. You know, these guys are legitimately happy, and they're not happy that they're there, but they're able to be happy amongst each other in there, man. And Nova Paget, welcome. And you're right. At the DC Gulag, they have an administration in that Gulag that we're supposed to talk to, and that number has been given out many times before. But we just got to keep that straight when we're calling the prisons about our calls to actions. So yeah, Dominic Box was just talking about the camaraderie that the guys have in there, and that they help each other out, man. These guys are not the monsters that the DOJ and these prosecutors are trying to make it sound like they are. They're good men. They are good family people, most of them, and they were good patriots, standing up and expressing their free rights. I mean, man, you got to just consider the history of what happened before J6 to understand why there was 1 million people there that day. And our country had just gone through a year and a half of riots and stuff. We had just gone through the COVID mandates that became like dictates. And, you know, that was where I had to finally stand up and say, whoa, 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 whoa. My life ends right now because the 15 days to flatten the curve just turned into a year, and it was ramping up. And I had to drop everything and get into that convoy because that's what we were protesting. I hardly ever protested before that. And I thought it wasn't effective, you know, but what else could we do? What else could we do, man? On Christmas Eve, we got a call from Taylor John Takis, and when he was in his court case, he's going on a different strategy with his court case, that he's just kind of letting the prosecution present their case, you know, and he's not offering a whole lot of arguments, man. He just let them go and present their case. And he said he was sorry, you know, but he wasn't admitting that the prosecution was correct. He wasn't admitting, and he wasn't taking a plea deal. He said he was sorry. They were bringing charges against him for assaulting police officers. He brought each of the cops up and just said, "Hey, did I harm you? Did I injure you? Did I insult you?" And of course, the answer to all those questions was no, because all he did was walk through the Capitol. And the FJB's Department of Justice came after him, man. So he basically says no arguments bear fruit in a courtroom. You know, if you're going to try to argue against the prosecution, who's employed by the same person that the judge is employed by the way, and probably this same employer for your defensive attorney, he just felt like it didn't behoove him to argue against the prosecution's charges. So that's one strategy, and we'll see how that works out for him. I believe he's waiting a verdict on his cases. And then he went on to say how this Michael Byrd has to be held accountable. Michael Byrd is the gunman, police officer that shot Ashley Babbitt in cold blood. the extreme overuse of force, and it breaks every law in the police handbooks, basically. So Taylor brought that up, man. We got to hold Michael Byrd to accountability, man. And he got fairly fired up in this phone call. That was from December 23rd, Saturday, the Christmas Eve Vigil. And I'm not sure if anyone put a short out on that phone call or not yet, but that's another way to catch up, Patriots. If you've been out of it for a couple days or a week or whatever, you can catch up on the short videos that Dead for Freedom and Stormtroopers putting out. Glory B's done a couple of them. Freedom Express Media does, extracurricular J Stuff's videos to catch up on stuff. Taylor Jonatakis has a Give, Send, Go called Jonatakis Family Health. And he has a website called Peasant's Perspective, where he has a lot of his writing on there. He's a great family guy. He was always into mental health, being in good mental health and things like that. So he's very tuned in to how to live a good life. And he certainly isn't a terrorist, insurrectionist, criminal like the courts there are trying to portray him. And it would be nice if our elected officials would wake up to this fact, because they are in charge of these courts in D.C., unlike every other court in the country. Jeff Sable got on. We did the national anthem that night. It sounded awesome. And afterwards, they were talking about some news, and he brought up the fact that Matt Gaetz is bringing a line of questioning to the CEO of Delta Airlines. Now, what's happening on our southern border and the invasion that's going on is the Border Patrol is facilitating the flood of people coming in. In fact, they're asking for help from the BOP and from the Marshal Service to come down there so they can actually facilitate more people to come in. And once they come in, these non-government organizations, also known as an NGO, are loading them up on buses, putting them on airplanes, and bringing them right into the heart of our country. They're flying them into like 45 different cities. And of course, these bus lines now and these airlines, they are taking people on them without documentation, without passports, without ID. Now, I know we can't get on an airplane without an ID, but yet Delta Airlines is flying hundreds and hundreds of these people all over the country with no ID. And I thought we had a Transportation Safety Administration that was, set up to make flying safe, and it made it requirements that you needed to have an ID. But now Delta Airlines is just flying hundreds and hundreds of illegals all over the country. So let's see where Matt Gaetz goes with that. But Matt Gaetz was on it. He's first out of our 400 and whatever representatives in Congress. One guy is saying, hey, let's ask the airlines how they're getting away with this, And then that night, the news was that the Biden administration was caught concealing the Chinese spy balloon from the public and Congress. Remember that spy balloon? I mean, if we go back to the last year, it's staggering how many of these stories like the spy balloon was, that they were all conspiracy theories and when they first spotted the spy balloon out in Montana and people were going, it's a Chinese spy balloon. Everyone's going, it's a conspiracy theory. It's just a balloon. Turned out it was a Chinese spy balloon that Biden let fly over the whole country. And he was concealing that information from you and me, and he was concealing that information from Congress. And lo and behold, Joe Biden gets money from the Chinese government. It's clear as day, America. Clear as day. I don't want to keep beating you over the head with this stuff, but I know we all get it. Everybody in this chat gets it. But for some reason, there's 350 million Americans that don't. And they're about to lose their country, and they don't even know it. Another interesting thing was that the Red Cross and the Catholic Charities organizations, who are the NGOs that are helping out these illegal immigrants once they come into this country, are, they're charities. They're helping out the human side of the suffering of these illegal immigrants and stuff. But let's not forget that they were the two organizations that were also in charge of the Haiti disasters. In 2010 or whatever, people donated $500 million to these organizations, and there's really nothing to show for what they did with that money. So, and I do know that I misspoke on my last stream on the Red Cross. I got it mixed up with Salvation Army. Now, Salvation Army is a great organization that's local, that helps out local people. It's local businesses and donations. And then they have a store in your town that if you're broke, you can go buy a suit for a job interview, or you can buy clothing and pots and pans and a sofa and a bed and stuff. I mean, that's a great organization that helps out Americans with American money. But the Red Cross is a whole nother entity on its own, and there is all kinds of shenanigans that the Red Cross is always involved with. They are always involved internationally, and these are the demons that are trying to take over our country. These international globalists that are doing that. Yes, Jamie Crow, I got my scarf, and I should have grabbed it because it's a little chilly out here. How you doing, Jamie Crow? Carrie's Musings, hello. Denari, hi there. Ferg, how's Canada? How you doing up there in the north? Canada's got their hands full too up there. Thank you all for the Christmas wishes. I wish you all had a good Christmas in the middle of this storm that's going on. And speaking of storms, in Serbia, there was a J6 event in Serbia just on Friday or Saturday that was in the news. They stormed their capital, just like happened here on January 6, 2021, where patriots went around the Capitol. It looks like there was instigators in the crowd, started busting windows out. Same play, same exact play, man. Yeah, Trudeau's wrecking you guys fast. It's all over the world. It's happening, but there are glimmers of hope. There's rays of sunshine coming in. There's countries that are electing good people, like Argentina, like Brazil, like Netherlands, like Italy, and we're next. I mean, we gotta get on this. We gotta save our country. This is very, very important. We gotta have more than 60% voter turnout too, But the powers that be, the powers that are in power right now, will make that as confusing as possible, try to demoralize as many people as possible, and keep them disengaged. Try to blow up their minds that they can't even think about this without hurting their brains, so they will disengage and do nothing about it. But it's up to us to understand how they operate and understand the peril that we're up against right now. That must keep carrying on. We gotta keep carrying on, patriots. All right, so Freedom Corner, Christmas Day. I started taking notes, man. I started taking notes, and Dwight led off in a great prayer. It was a nice small crowd there. Sherry read a poem that was written by Barry Ramey's fiance that was very good. Brian Jackson got on the phone, Tammy's man, and said, yeah, we're getting ready to sing for you guys. We got a couple treats for you. We've been practicing all day yesterday. And then they started singing, man. And it was emotional. It was very emotional. And these men in this prison, some of them in there for their third Christmas now, were singing Christmas carols of joy for their Savior, for their God, for their deliverer, who shed his blood on this world in order that we can be reconciled to God after being sinners. And it was just an amazing, amazing thing. And every time they sang a song, they had 15 minutes, they would sing one or two, and then they would pass the phone or the tablet around that each man could say, Merry Christmas to the Patriots on Freedom Corner and their families at home. And it was just an amazing emotional experience. And it was just the best Freedom Corner I have ever seen. I wish I was there. I was there last Christmas, and it was emotional then, but this one just topped every Freedom Corner ever. If you know somebody who does not know what's going on in J6 or Freedom Corner or any of these issues, and they are interested in finding out what goes on at this corner, this is the most undiluted video they can possibly see. This will tear their heart apart once they understand what is going on with these phone calls, with these patriots on the corner waving flags, with these live streamers trying to broadcast it out to a country on deaf ears, with all the sacrifices that are involved, with everybody involved, with Ashley Babbitt's mother standing there trying to get justice for her daughter that was murdered, her 14-year Air Force veteran daughter who was murdered in cold blood on the inside that Capitol, and Roseanne Boylan was beaten to death, and Kevin Greason and Benjamin Phillips and even Brian Sicknick, man, the farce that his funeral was. If anyone's asking, this is the Freedom Corner that they need to see, and I think it will stab them in the heart into caring, to being concerned, to understanding the importance of standing on Freedom Corner and standing with these patriots who are just getting annihilated in this court that our Congress is in charge of there. So I couldn't take notes. I was so emotionally lifted up, torn down, pleading with God while they were singing, that I just couldn't even take notes. And it's just the best Freedom Corner ever, man. That's 12/24/23, or 12/25/23 was the best one ever. This was Christmas Eve, right? The Christmas Eve one was the one where they were all singing, and they sang many songs, and they even had humor in there. I mean, they sang a Latin holiday, a Latin holy tune. All right, I didn't understand a word of it, and after the tune, I forget who got on the phone and said, well, now they're going to come out and check all your license plates out there, patriots, because that was in Latin, and that is a terrorist language deemed by the FBI. And I just, to me, that was hilarious, because I know what the FBI is doing with the Catholic churches and the Latin services. They've been spying on people going to Latin services and stuff because they think that they're terrorists because they're in a different language. The absurdity of our FBI right now is unbelievable, man. And I hope this is temporary. I hope there are still good FBI guys in there that are doing the right thing. And there are a bunch that came forward, but all these whistleblowers, they get threatened, they get trampled on, they get fired, and nobody's listening to them, man. So it was just the best Freedom Corner ever. And it sent me into a thought process there. I mean, what does Freedom Corner stand for? What exactly is it? Can you put it into a sentence? We're standing with these patriots on Freedom Corner. The setting of it is ironic that there's a cemetery brick wall on one side, there is a prison brick wall on the other side. It's a dead end ahead of us, and that is where God has planted Freedom Corner. Nobody decided to put it there. It's just where it became where it is, and we've been constantly hassled by the police down there, hassled by counter protesters, by people who are in a position of victory right now because their guy Joe Biden's in office, but they can't even let us voice our opinions about the injustices that are happening or the election fraud that has happened. And then what makes you like Freedom Corner? I mean, do we I watch Freedom Corner because I'm concerned. I feel this plugs me in to a group of people that are actually understand that something is wrong with this country, really, really wrong with this country. And this keeps me plugged in with a daily contact with these people. If I stopped watching Freedom Corner for, 5 days or something, my life could take over, and it becomes easy to forget. So I think that's what makes me like Freedom Corner. What lessons are we learning at Freedom Corner, What have I learned since I've been there? And that is the fact that this, law enforcement in D.C. is ridiculous. What they consider free speech is almost like a retarded turning of our right of free speech to the point where they consider free speech the ability to just yell louder than the other person talking, and that's their free speech to wipe out your free speech. I mean, unbelievable, man. And it has taught me more than ever the existence of evil, the evil that is keeping these patriots in jail, men and women who just want nothing more than to love their God, family, and country, and stand up for the country when it's being threatened. And the evil that surrounds these patriots down there every single day. Cops that just sit in their car and collect a paycheck on this cushy shift they got now, watching Freedom Corner for 512 nights in a row now, the evil is everywhere, and we are continuously exposing that evil. So we are a light. When the light shines, it shows where the evil is. We are light, and it kind of makes it easy to understand there. And these people who oppose us, and they go with all the talking point policies of the FJB administration, and basically all these policies are against God, they're against family, and it just dooms these people to a life of barren happiness. Barren happiness. They're not going to have children. They're going to kill the babies if they get them. They're going to be homosexuals. They're going to become sterile because they're going to change their sex. All these policies that have been put on us in the last 3 years, which you would have called absurd 3.5 years ago, are just killing human beings. It is wiping out the human race. And anybody that partakes of those theories, those perceptions of what they're here on this earth for, without God, without family, without a country, it will make you barren, and it will not make you happy. Hate will consume you, man. And it also made me wonder, are we being evil? Okay, are we being evil by saying bad things about the cops that don't do anything when people are attacked and stuff down there? Are we being evil by grabbing a bullhorn and yelling stuff back at them? Are we being evil because we won't use cuss words when we're yelling stuff? It made me reflect on my behavior too. And, not that we ever arrive at a point where we know everything, but it's a continual learning experience. And I'm praising God. He let me go on this journey, man, because if I had obligations, I would not have been able to do this for as long as I have done it, man. And then it makes me wonder, how extreme do we react to this evil, you know? So there's evil. So what? Most people just ignore it and go, well, it's not in my front yard. It's not in my living room, even though it is. What do you do when you're confronted with evil? What do you do when you're watching cops bash women at a peaceful rally at the Capitol? What do you do when you see a cop kneeling on a guy who's obviously dying, you know? Do you just learn to coexist with that evil? Yeah, the ideology from the left is just degenerate. It's satanic. It's anti-God. It's anti-family, and it's anti-country, which is everything this country is about. That's the democratic message that we've been spreading around the world for the last 100 years. And it's just against everything that we've ever been for in the past. And do we just learn to coexist with it, ignore it, or do we poke it with a stick? What do we do with it? You know, do we resist till death? Do we stand up and draw a line in the sand and say, I'm going to kill you before you kill me? You know, because they're killing us. They are actively murdering us and incarcerating us and throwing us in jail and stealing people, splitting up our families and warping our children. They're taking our children who we trusted in a school system and confusing them with sex at a very early age, man. Metal is Joy has the right answer. This is what we do. We read God's word daily. There is insight there that it is a magical way how reading the Bible works in your everyday minute-to-minute life. You will be reading a story, and you'll just be in a random part of the Bible, part of your Bible reading program, and something will happen, and it's exactly like what just you read about in the Bible, man. Hey, Cleo, glad you could join us. Hello, Priscilla. Yeah, read God's word daily. I am digging Deuteronomy right now. It is so good, so good. It's been a couple years since I read it, man. Freedom Corner is a beacon of hope, Kara. That's right. We are light. We show that people couldn't see a lot of the wickedness that we're showing that have been exposed by us being down there, by us making phone calls, by us live streaming things and stuff. So do we resist till death like they did when Francis Scott Key was out there in that ship watching the flag? And we die and we say, put my body next to that flagpole to keep it standing so we don't consent to defeat. What do? We all got to be self-examining on this. We all got to hear what God is telling us to do, to stand up. Really, when it all in the end, we all meet again. We're saved. We are eternal beings. We have a life in paradise with our King, our Savior. And so really, we're not going to be able to convert anybody once we're in paradise. This is where the work needs to get done. This is where the reward is earned. So there's a lot of self-examination that has to go into how much you're going to commit to straightening this all out, and whether or not we'll win it or not. Because a lot of cases in history, they didn't win, man. When the Israelites were in Egypt, working under Pharaoh as slaves, Pharaoh would actually say, you got to take your babies that were born and throw them into the river. That's the whole story of Moses. And they did. They didn't rise up and fight back. They threw their baby in the river because the Pharaoh said they had to. And they were not in a position of power to fight against it. That's what they did. Herod, when he heard Christ was born from the 3 wise men that came from the east, he said, go into Bethlehem and kill every baby under 2 years old. And he did. They did it. And they didn't rise up and try to kill Herod or the armies that came in and did that. It happened, and God let it happen, and it's confusing, and it is all part of this experience here where we are learning what evil is. We have to know what evil is. We have to experience the evil in order to know how glorious God is, how much God loves us, how much mercy he has by offering us a plan that he saved us by offering his son and knowing the level at which he had to sacrifice in order to do this. And it's all staggering lessons, and you can't gloss over it. It needs to be embedded in our consciousness, man. Yeah, the history repeats itself. There are many, many instances of horror that the Israelites went through. You read Josephus. Josephus was a historian that basically wrote a lot about the whole history of the Jews up until the point in 70 AD when Caesar decimated Jerusalem, you know. All this stuff is excellent reading, excellent stuff to understand and study then and now. So really, we don't got it that bad. We do got it bad. I mean, many of you patriots have lost children due to drug overdoses. Many of you patriots I know have had children and relatives that have spent, many, many years in prison for getting caught with a drug, like a plant. There's been so much injustice happening in the last 50 years here, and now we got a government that is just out of control. Vote for Trump, it'll hurt the environment. Hey, Ridgeline, how are you, man? Thanks for putting in there. Yeah, and then we got the brainwashing that says if you can't have this baby right now, you can just go get an abortion. And they're doing it. And I've had women at these women's rallies walk past me and go, I'm glad I got an abortion. It was the best thing I ever did. And they're saying, those words are coming out of their mouth. And I just can't imagine that those are true, man. Yeah, I'm not blaming the left or the right, man. The fact that there's abortions available and that the government's involved with that decision makes it odd. It seems to me that should be a doctor-patient procedure, and the government has no place whatsoever in any of that conversation, It should be a conversation between a person that wants an abortion and maybe their parents, to consider like, hey, if my parents felt this way, I wouldn't even be here. Yeah, I'm not turning it into a left-right thing. There's USA first. Well, hopefully Trudeau's losing this race. Biden is nosediving. And I just heard that we have ordered strikes on Iran, I believe. Or I got it written down here. I'll get to that here shortly. Yeah, just be into the word of God. God, and even when Pharaoh was making them throw their babies in the river. And there's more. There's other wild stories. If you want to really get wild with the Pharaoh stuff, read Enoch and the book of Joshua and the book of Jubilees has other stories that was happening at that time, man. But God, and it took 40 years, but one of the Israelites threw their baby in the water, and Pharaoh's daughter found it floating, in a bed of reeds, and took it in as her own. And next thing you know, there's an Israelite in Pharaoh's house, and he becomes the smartest dude in Pharaoh's court, and he rescues the Israelites from that. But I think that took 80 years, man, because Pharaoh was 40 years old when he left Egypt, And then he spent 40 years in Jethro's house. And then he saw the burning bush, came back with his brother Aaron, and they rescued the Israelites. But it took a long time, but God did rescue them in a big, grand way. And that's why Deuteronomy is so cool, because this is the one time where God didn't hold back showing himself to humans, man. When you read about standing at the bottom of Mount Sinai while he was delivering the 10 Commandments to the people, it is amazing, an amazing story, man. So one thing we got to ask ourselves is, are you in a realm where evil likes to exist? Okay. Not too long ago, I had a couple of friends that it just got to me that we're never talking about God. It became evident these people don't believe in God. And I just got tired of hanging out with them. And so I stopped hanging out with them, man. So we got to examine what we're doing in our lives every day. We just got to make sure we are on the path that God wants us. And is God going to keep us on a path where we're surrounded with wickedness and evil people, you know? If you're in a job and your job is to do abortions, I don't know that you could be a Christian in that position, you know? There are definitely varying levels of wickedness. Stupidity breeds wickedness. Ignorance breeds wickedness. Tolerance breeds wickedness. Compliance breeds wickedness. So we just got to be self-examining all the time, and keeping in the scriptures on a daily basis is a good way to do that, man. Yeah, Noah, I do believe that to be true. The fall of the Roman Empire is the same as what's happening in the U.S. now. And one of the things I remember learning in school was that right before the fall of a great country, the fall of a great government, great civilization, the homosexuals come in. And that's what happened in Jerusalem. That's what happened in Rome. That's what happened in Greece. It happens over and over again. And it is God's way it's a sign from God when he puts these people in power over you that judgment is about to come down. But even if it does, we are protected. God will take care of us. He'll either deliver us from it and get us out of here, which is cool, or he will make a spot where we can go and where we can continue. There's always a remnant left after God delivers judgment too. So we just got to be trusting in him and know that his will is going to be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's an amazing thing, an amazing thing. All right, I want to read something here for you guys. Some people can put things into words a lot better than I can. This is something that Tucker Carlson just put together. Undiluted words that flow in an amazing way that helps people understand what's going on. Let's see, God gave us the Bible as a plan to win. We just have to listen and follow the Bible. That's right. Hey, Tina, hello there. How you doing, Tina? It's our job to read it and learn his plan. That's right. I kind of always say God gave us the truth to see what we would do with it. All right? You can give, like Donald Trump, his dad gave him $1 million, you know, and then look what he did with it. Turned it into a couple of $1 billion. God gives us the truth in the Bible. Have we saved any souls? Have we spread any love? Have we shed any light on wickedness? So yeah, exactly, Tina. Good words there. Good words. Okay, Tucker Carlson wrote this. By this point, most people understand they're being lied to by the news media. The news you consumed is not designed to inform you as if you were some sort of a free citizen in a free country. No, it's North Korean style propaganda. The purpose of it is to deceive and divide and manipulate you. It's a psyop and it's wrecking this country. What's the antidote? Well, the antidote is simply telling the truth Tell it clearly, with humility, but most of all, with boldness. We're Americans, we can still do that. It's our birthright. Free speech is the most fundamental freedom we have, and without it, all others are meaningless. And I just thought, there you got, I'm not some guy, a conspiracy theorist. Tucker Carlson thinks the same thing as I do here. The news is a psyop. And I find it hard to believe that people would not see this, I find it very hard that they can't see that. Yeah, I don't really have energy anymore to be around people, believers. I mean, if you don't believe in God, I don't know. There it is. Whoop, there it is. Okay, now I know. Now I know. I can't take any words that you ever say as wisdom if you don't believe in God. I can't understand how you think that you can love anything without God, because what I know about God tells me that that's impossible without God. So, yeah, that was good. Okay, Christmas Day Freedom Corner, day 1083 of the FJB debacle, Vigil number 511. This was yesterday night. They started at 6 p.m., so I forgot about that, and I was a little late, but I got in right for the prayer. Andrew Taki has been in that jail for 2.5 years now. He was saying thank you for the visits on Friday, and he's just left wondering, why isn't America coming forward? Where is America? He's been waiting for 2.5 years. He stood at the Capitol with 1 million people. They arrested him, and he's wondering, where's America now? Where's the rest of that 1 million people, at least, We got, 30 people at Freedom Corner on a good night, and there was 1 million people standing on Freedom Corner there. So FJB has put fear into these people that works. They're staying away because of fear. They're staying away because they're scrambling, because they got to work harder to pay for gas, because everything that FJB did makes people not stand up. That's true. All right, so Greg Kelly reporting. The U.S. Air Force bombed a few Iranian-backed terror camps in Iraq after they drone attacked. All right, I heard they said they were going to do that. I guess they've done it now, so here we go. Another step closer to World War III. Thank you, FJB. Lost my spot. Yeah, why is America not coming forward yet, man? Nicole last night had a really good analogy with Washington crossing the Delaware River on Christmas night, man. That's not where he wanted to be, but it's where he had to be in order to defeat the enemy. It was victory or death at that point. So now, back on the how much do you resist evil? Is it victory or death? And to all those Revolutionary War heroes, it was death. There was no option. They were fighting to the death, man. She read a bunch of a Thomas Paine letter, which was really good, that he wrote on Christmas Eve in 1776. And the whole message of that is tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. It is a fight, and it is a fight to the death once it comes down to it. And yeah, that was some good words out of Nicole last night, and we pray for you, Nicole. I just can't imagine the horror that you're living with having your man in jail and sentenced to that long time, man. And Mickey, she's never going to have a Christmas with her daughter. I just can't imagine this. And it makes me want to fight even more for them, Taylor John Attack is called in. Lawyers won't argue on freedom of speech. So he's in jail because he was standing up for his freedom of speech to say that the election was bad, or that They should not certify that election, that they should take a look at it before they certify it. But the lawyers will not argue that. They're only looking at the tit for tat with the who charged what, who hit who with what, who bumped into who, where did you walk? That's all it is like little facts, but they won't get into the point like this is all irrelevant because I was standing there in the first place on a First Amendment right that we have, man. Legislatures, Thomas Taylor was saying, legislators can change this, but they're not. We got 500 and something legislators, and they are not changing this. Then Taylor, a good man, 20 years ago today, he was in Brazil on a mission trip, and he was preaching Jesus to people in Brazil on a church mission trip. And I think he said he spent 2 years in Brazil doing this. And he just found himself in the same boat 20 years later. At 40 years old, he's doing the same thing on a phone call, calling out the patriots who are live streaming his message about Christ to the whole country, the whole world. So God bless you, Taylor. God bless you. We are totally behind you. We will do whatever we can to help you out. Grave injustice, what you've been through, man. Mickey got up and spoke about how these judges they're pre-programmed. They know how they're going to judge before they go into a case. And they are there to convict. That's the whole point, man. There's no reward for justice there. The only reward they get is how many convictions they get, how many prosecutors they reward with a conviction. And then with the sentencing also, man. There's still a judge there, Reggie Walton, who believes that cops died on J6. This man is so disillusioned, so out of the realm of factual information that he thinks one patriot died at J6 and that cops died on J6. And this guy's in charge of J6 courts. Unbelievable, man. James Grant was still looking for this video of him up on the balcony on the Senate side of the Capitol next to a broken window. Some of the patriots have access to computers. They were looking for a lot of this stuff. Can't wait till he finds it. There's a $500 bounty, by the way, if you find it. So let's help James Grant get this. My guess is other patriots have had videos like this that were not allowed to be admitted by the delusional judges in this court. Patriot Angelina was there with her mother Cindy. It was awesome seeing you two there last night. And Angelina read the roll call last night. While she was reading the roll call, Dominic Box called in, and she wasn't done with the roll call yet. But he wanted to hear the roll call, and he was moved, man. When he first, after Angelina was done, he got on the phone, started talking about, told us this was the first time that he didn't even know we did a roll call. And he was just deeply moved by this. And he said what an honor it is to be on that list. And amazing, man. Dominic Box was also the first annual Christmas poker tournament champion. He was pretty proud about that. This is his first Christmas in jail, and he was talking about how the guys just celebrating Christmas. Can't steal their joy. Can't steal their joy, man. And that they had a Christmas tree that they made. I think Jeff Sable said he made it out of a sheet or something, and M&Ms and colored pencils. It's really cool how you can't steal their joy, man. They made a holiday out of it regardless, man. We are all in this together, he says, Dominic says. And right at the end, he goes, oh, by the way, put the addresses. If you're writing letters to the J6ers, make sure you put the address on the letter, because the jail opens up the letters and they photocopy it, and then they give the guy a photocopy of the letter. And sometimes they don't photocopy the envelope. And if that's the only place your address was written on, they're not going to be able to write back to you, man. And during this night on Christmas Day, we got a gift from Sapphire Patriot. Sherry, our own Sherry, started live streaming last night. And about halfway, maybe a third the way through the night, all of a sudden I got a notification that Sapphire Patriot's going live. And I knew she was there. So I jumped over to her channel, and it was the coolest thing in the world, Sherry, seeing you run your first live stream. You did a great job of giving us an angle. The sound was good. Everything was good, man. You did a great job there, Sapphire Patriot. So if you can, let's show her some love. Go subscribe to Sapphire Patriot on YouTube. And I don't know if she's going to do it every night or not, but this was her first live stream. She's done a couple of shorts in the past. And Sherry is an amazing patriot, definitely an asset to the corner when she's there. And she is sacrificing a lot to be there, just like Stormtrooper and Rebecca and Dwight and Lily are. And every patriot that's there is sacrificing a huge amount to be able to bring that broadcast to us, man. Nova, were you on her website? Yeah, her sound was really good. I don't know if she's got like a brand new phone and the microphone's not clogged up or what, but her sound was good, man. And I kind of liked that low angle she had it on. She said her camera was only 2 feet off the ground. And I just like that angle better than being, you know, kind of up at eye level. It makes everything kind of look cooler. And some of the footage of Katie waving that flag last night was just incredible, man. It was almost like, you know, it was really good, really good. So I'm glad you got to see that, Nova. So, and Sherry, glad to see you live streaming. Anytime you're on, I'll come in and watch it. You did a great job there. And then Jeff Sable got on the phone, they sang the national anthem, and then they had a bonus song, man. The guys practiced one last Christmas tune for us out of the Gulag era. And I can't remember what the song is, but it's that one that goes, do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? And they had like the round going, you know, because it was good. It was really good. And then he was talking about having choir practice with the guys and enjoying that. And he said, it can be tough if you dwell on the negative. We're in the midst of a lot of negativity in this country right now. And if you dwell on it, it can bring you down. So another good reason to keep your mind on the scripture. Stay positive with God, stay in love, get rid of people in your world that bring you more down, that don't uplift you. And another thing, just be always analyzing. We're in this like very negative time in our country. A lot of work needs to be done and nobody's working. They're going to start hiring these illegals for the army, the police forces. They're going to let them vote because the people that are here that want jobs are just sick of the rules, sick of the games. And they would take the jobs if they just took all the dumb rules away. And Jeff Sable just said at the very end, man, this is my, you know, we're having fun in here. We're making the best of this. We're singing Christmas carols. We're praising God. And they sounded like they were having a good time, and that was heartwarming. But he said, just remember that this is my third Christmas in prison. And he just said, please get involved. So we are plugged in, Patriots. We are involved, and somehow or another, we got to get more people involved because these atrocities that are happening in the court are horrible, man. Okay, so that was Freedom Corner last night, and I just got a couple more things to say here about Freedom Express Media is doing a little thing after the Vigil every once in a while. David used to hop in the truck and drive a little, and then everybody could chat while he was driving, but now he's at home, and he's doing a broadcast after the Vigil, and last night he showed a video, a documentary from Epic Times called The Real Story of J6, which is an excellent video documentary on a lot of the facts that are out there about J6. It covered a lot of the aspects of Ashley Babbitt's murder, Roseanne Boylan's murder, Brian Sicknick's murder, Ray Epps. I mean, it was a really good documentary. So I think this documentary is available on Epic Times news website without paying for it. And there is a part 2 apparently that's coming out soon. So it is possible for you to see this video, but if not, just look up David's stream from last night and you'll get it. And it's a worthy watch, and it's a good one. Like, if people are totally clueless about J6, this is one of them things that you would want to share with them. Just send it to them. And then hopefully they'll click on it and see, like, wait a minute, I was told Brian Sicknick was hit in the head with a fire extinguisher and died on the spot. Nope, that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. It was a Hollywood production. He died the next day from complications from having a stroke, which was probably brought on by tear gas that his own comrades shot at him. And there's a lot to the Brian Sicknick story, man. His funeral was for 3 days after January 6th. It was on TV every day. They cremated him. They had a memorial to him in the Capitol Rotunda. He lied there for a day, and the senators and the congressmen, walked past and, were acting all typical Hollywood production, brainwashing, propaganda type thing. And by the way, Brian Sicknick's family right now is suing Julian Cotter in civil court for $10 million, saying that the bear spray that he shot at him is the one that caused Brian Sicknick to have a stroke. But that's not the only reason. There were patriots there that were medics that told other cops that Brian Sicknick was showing the signs of a stroke. And the cops told him, basically, mind your own business. We'll take care of him. And they gave him a bottle of water and told him to go sit down. And it was due to the negligence of the medical treatment within his employer, the Capitol Police, that he probably died. So Julian Cotter is not solely responsible for Brian Sicknick's death, but for some reason, in a civil court, they can just bankrupt Julian Cotter. Julian Cotter's in jail. I don't know how he's going to come up with $10 million. And even what point does that make if you win that case? I mean, the dude's got a many, many year sentence that he's got to serve now for being at J6. And the whole system is absurd, America. Yes, it is so vital to share our streamers' work. We have to do our due diligence spreading the truth. That's right. That's where you guys come in, Patriots. That's where you guys come in. That's where you're working. We'll get the content. They'll stream what we can show, what we can get out and stream. I think Jay Lynn's doing a flag wave right now out in Fort Wayne, Indiana. A bunch of Palestinians show up there every Tuesday night. And Jay Lynn and her man are the only ones that are opposing them. Our buddy Sean got out there last week and waved a flag with them against them. Yeah, these are the people that are flying the Palestinian flag in America and protesting for a ceasefire. And these people are just totally propagandized. They have no idea what's going on. So that was really cool that Freedom Express Media is doing this after Vigil show. I really like it, David. And it looks good. You're doing a great job with it. And you got the movie going. You got the chat going. It's very cool. And I think that's it. We got through it. We got caught up, man. It's been a while. I'm glad you guys could join me. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for staying plugged in. And we'll get out there to the Vigil tonight. We'll see who's streaming. We know Stormtrooper's still there. Rebecca is still there with We the People MAGA. for Ashley J6 Vigil's channel will be on probably, and maybe Sapphire Patriot will start one up too. So Patriots, thanks for joining me. Let's stay plugged into this battle. We are the resistance. Do not, it's easy to disengage from this because it is so paradigm busting. It is so stupid that the stupidity hurts our brains, you know? And that's why a lot of people just don't care. They don't want to care because it hurts their brains to think of the stupidity that you have to deal with to fight it, you know? These people that are just changing everything, turning the world upside down with their policies and their words and changing the definitions of words. It does hurt your brain to try to follow it, but man, we got to stay engaged. It's not a fun thing to do, but it's what needs to be done right now. And let's try to support the streamers, man. I need support. Every one of the streamers down there at the corner needs support. Mickey and Nicole and Tammy need support. There's plenty of support needed to go around. So if you can, the only way that I can get support is from my P.O. box right now. I don't have any of the Give, Send, Go things set up. And I have not received packages yet that I know are coming, but for some reason they're still not there. I'm hearing a lot of problems with the Postal Service right now. There are backlogs, warehouses full of packages for Christmas that have not been delivered yet. That's in the news now, today, too. Because it's another government operation that nobody wants to work for anymore. And the people that are in charge of these operations are crooks, basically. They don't care about you. And they're not going to bend over backwards to do anything for you. So that's what we're dealing with. But anyways, if you can, send me a donation. And we'll try to keep this thing going, man. Sooner or later, though, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if I can continue to do this or not. We'll just have to see. Every day is a new adventure. And it's always interesting when God is leading the way. All right, Patriots, I love you all. We'll see you there at Freedom Corner in the chat tonight. This is Jericho, over and out.